Hello. Thank you, Sarah, for inviting me to this workshop. And thank you all for listening. The workshop is dedicated to co-authorship, to collective writing. And it is one of the most exciting, but at the same time complicated ways of academic writing. I think I've always been a fan of writing together with someone else, because that gives one the possibility of seeing quite different things and seeing them differently. When I was little, I dreamed about a magical ability of stepping into somebody else's shoes, and not just shoes, of becoming somebody else for a moment in order to see the world differently. Like that other person. I soon realized that it was absolutely impossible. We could not do that. We would never be able to see the world through somebody else's eyes. And it's difficult to even imagine what it's like. Maybe, I like to think that this was the actual reason why I became an ethnographer. Because it is possible to ask and to listen, somebody explaining what it's like, what their experience is, how they perceive the world, and what it's like to live in their particular reality. And it is very interesting. It gives a lot of knowledge that would otherwise be impossible to gain. No amount of quantitative surveying is able to do that. However, it's not quite the same thing as actually stepping into somebody else's shoes, isn't it? It's close to it, but it's not the same thing. As I said, the actual thing is not possible. We cannot do it. We cannot become somebody else. We are moments in time and space, moments of consciousness, traveling throughout time and space, and encountering other people. But when we write together with another person, then another dimension of their being in the world becomes maybe not obvious, maybe not immediately graspable, but possible to access. A possibility of a meeting that is somehow beyond the normal exchange during the interview or a conversation. It's almost like art. I think when I go to a museum and look at paintings, as for example Caravaggio, I absolutely love him. And I look at his paintings. I agree with John Berger when he said that these paintings, it makes a difference whether you see them in person, in physical space or online, because these physical paintings are actual windows to another world, to other worlds. Those inhabited by their creators. And they are there. You can stand there and gaze at them and be moved, be transported into somebody else's consciousness, into that moment, moving in time and space, but way beyond where you are now. Not the same, but something similar to it is possible when we write together. And somebody, my co-author or my co-authors, we take turns. We do different things. It's rarely the actual co-presence and instantaneous and simultaneous writing together. That happens too sometimes, but usually not. Anyway, that encounter, even if it's slightly moved into sequences that follow one after each other or come together at different points in time and space, that is it too. It's a window. It's a window into somebody else's creativity, into somebody else's creative thinking. And your own creative thinking becomes different, it becomes altered under the influence of the other person's creative world. So how many times has it not happened to me to change almost completely what I was thinking and doing and how I was reading my own material, and something else comes out of it? There is a long phase in many such collaborative efforts, a long phase where things do not come together, where we produce chaos, and it can take many weeks, maybe many months, and sometimes it's very frustrating. But in all those years I've learned to be patient, a bit more patient anyway. The feeling of despair always comes in. There will be nothing from it. It goes nowhere. I don't understand. I cannot get into this text. This is real. This happens. But it passes, and at some point you see what's there. You see what's emerging. And it's something that you probably would not have been able, or I have not been able, to foresee. It's something else, it's something different, a collaborative, creative effort. Something that we do together. And this is academia. It always has been, since antiquity at least. And we can make it happen. Thank you very much for your attention. Goodbye.